What's the greatest lie kid at your school told to try and be cool? One kid in grade 2 told everyone his dad was Hulk Hogan. That kid was me. Damn it. Jessica. A kid told us he'd found out how to wank. Basically you hold it at the base and wiggle it every which way as fast as you can. And then at the end green stuff comes out. Spent ages thrashing that thing around trying to get some green stuff out. That he spent the last 5 days counting to infinity. Some say he's still counting today. In kindergarten I told my classmates that I used to be a shark. That because of his Chinese roots he could turn into a dragon. Was his name Jake Long? American Dragoon. That he once ate a Big Mac in 2 bites and then shat it out as a whole Big Mac. I shoved a Big Mac up my ear into chunks and puked up a whole turd. Sorry ladies. He's taken. A girl started a rumor in middle school that she was actually a German princess in hiding. A girl at my school did this when 20th Century Fox released Anastasia. And again when The Princess Diaries was released. Both times her older sister caught wind and shut her down like only a sibling can. Nobody believed her, but it was damn funny. Or the best strategy ever. To make sure no one believed her, since suspicions would arise due to the 2 new movies coming out. My one friend told me in 1st grade that he blew a bubble so big it filled the whole room and everyone was pushed up against a wall until it popped and got everything all sticky. I was a gullible child. Was your friend SpongeBob? That he sucked on his babysitter's tits. I can't remember if it was 4th or 5th grade, but he told everyone in our little circle, and one of the boys said, "You made my thing go up." One of my friends in grade school said something similar. He went to spend the night at one of his friend's house, and his friend's older sister was there and invited him into her room. And he stayed the night with her and got to see her boobs. Had a kid say he knew how to speak Chinese in 4th grade. His response, "Ching clang bang quia zoni shang shag milking back." I think I believed it. Shagma hidden message right there. Mr. Powers, what are you doing here? I did the lie. I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and it was the early 90s. I told my friends that I did Bart Simpson's laugh on The Simpsons. Not his voice. Just the laugh. I could do it really well back then. No one believed me. Yeah sure you can do it really well. We all believe you buddy. My sibling started public school as a sophomore. Before that we were homeschooled. He told everyone he was from California and adopted a surfer dude persona. He would only wear surfer brands, tanned a lot, and bleached his hair. We live in Alaska. That's actually really funny. A friend of mine, fluent in Japanese and as Japanese, went to school in Japan for a semester and pretended to be completely illiterate and fake a very strong American accent. I'm sure it was funny. My senior year of high school, there was guy in my PE class who claimed he'd been recruited to work for a cybernetics company that would arrange for him to be educated at MIT on a full ride scholarship. He said they were going to be working on defense systems like in Terminator. This guy was kind of a loner, so I didn't have many occasions to speak to him or really know him that well, but what I knew of him, he was a fair student, but I wasn't aware of him being a cybernetic organism prodigy. Anyway, it was nuts, but I didn't call bullshit because he was a nice guy and I wasn't in the mood to be a dick. Also, I guess there was like a 0.001% chance it was true. Anyway, a few years later, I saw him, still in town, and he was working as a grocery bagger at an Albertsons supermarket. He said hello, and I didn't mention the cyborg thing because it was possible he was, in fact, a convincing cyborg. I didn't want to get my arms ripped off if that was the case. Is it bad that I read the entire thing having a Russian accent in my head because you said there was guy in my PE class at the beginning? That he once completed the entire Pokemon Red in one sitting taking a number 2. That must have been the world's slowest poo. Or that one glitch. The one that makes you shit really slow. That he swam 5 miles off the coast with a shark and played with it for an hour before his dad waved at him to come back. We were 6. This kid told the 5th grade class that he and his ex-Navy grandpa got to fly in a fighter jet together. Kid was about 10 and something went wrong, so they had to eject via the rocket seats. My guess he was allowed to sit in the cockpit for a few seconds at a tour while with his grandpa. My dad was an aircraft engineer in the RAF, and I told a similar lie when I was a kid. Except I was given the controls of a Harrier after takeoff, and we never had to eject, because I was an awesome pilot of course. The classical my dad works at Nintendo. Half the class believed him. See, I had the opposite problem. My uncle worked at Blizzard and no one believed me. Is your uncle Jeff? Wrestle with Jeff. Prepare for death. When RuneScape got big I was in elementary school and had zero idea what it was, but when my classmates asked me about it, I confidently told them that our level 193 badass had a full set of dragonhide armor and a pet giant that would fight for me, and that I could ride him in between the worlds. Those fuckers ate that shit up, and I was the coolest kid in 5th grade till they all realized you couldn't do any of that shit. I knew a kid that said he played Cement 2000. You could ride on wasps. I wish that game existed. I'd play that. His uncle had a lion on his farm that protected their sheep, and they had to regularly go hunt for tigers because they killed their sheep. The lion was supposedly also very playful. I'm pretty sure lion was the name of a golden retriever. Well, if it was an actual lion, it's doing a shit job protecting the sheep if the tigers keep killing them. One lion versus multiple tigers? He's doing a damn good job protecting those sheep. Hecking righty Icewood would be the pupper equivalent to a lion. That he fucked the sexy guidance counselor. This kid is a pathological liar, so nobody believed him. Turned out to be true, but it happened after he said it did. Not sure how that worked out. Gotta visualize the results you desire, I suppose. Self-fulfilling prophecy. A girl in my 4th grade told everyone she could waterbend, and every time it rained she said it was because she was sad and couldn't control her powers yet. Another girl in my class said she was half cat, and whenever she was asked a question, she would meow back instead. This went on until the end of 6th grade, and I was put into the same class with the both of them. We also had identical twin sisters who even sounded the same, and they would constantly switch places and act like each other just for fun. Imagine how annoyed my teachers were. This dude used to tell people he had a 7FT 300-pound bodyguard named Vito. He would randomly whip out his phone and take fake phone calls from fake Vito all the time, talking about the cool places they were gonna meet up and cool stuff they were gonna do. All of these responses remind me of Jay from Inbetweeners. What a quality show though. RIP. A kid I went to school with said he invented the color gray. He took the white and black crayons and used them at the same time. Why would someone want to take credit for inventing one of the most boring colors ever? That's one more color than you created, bucko. I never thought of it that way. A teacher friend of mine said one of her students forged his mom's signature. He wrote mom. He insisted that his mom really did sign the form. Did the same thing on a piece of paper to get a fish from class. I even told her my mom scribbled it so badly cause she had diarrhea. Apostrophe. Oh man. We had a kid at my school who completely fabricated a girlfriend, Ellen, who lived in Winnipeg. We lived on the west coast. Apparently they met over the summer, but were doing the long distance thing, which was odd B/C Ike. This was grade 7. He was a pretty fat, super nerdy kid who wrote plays about cows, so not exactly the type for transcontinental romance. He even went so far as to make up an email address, write himself letters, fake photos, phone calls, the whole bit. This was in the late 90s, so people bought it for a while, but eventually, once people started questioning it, he claimed it was all a joke and we were the suckers. I want to hear some of these cow plays. I'll just wait until they adapt the plays to movies. That her dad was Hulk Hogan. We all know you're a big fat liar. Jessica, listen here brother. Don't talk about my Jess like that, or I'll leg drop you, Jack. That she was somehow connected to royalty somewhere, and that her family owned who knows how many castles. The bully when I was in school used to lie about having siblings. I have no idea why. We all knew she was lying, but she did it anyway. It might have worked when we were 5, but not at 12 or 13. Sure, it was an attention thing, but it's not like it made her cooler. Then again, she also thought physically hurting people was cool. So, I wasn't a bully, the opposite actually, but I was an only child and I lied about having siblings too. I've never met another only child my entire life thus far who was born in my home state, Utah. This dude said he was born in international waters, off the coast of the state we lived in. It was such a stupid lie, because he also told us the county that issued his birth certificate. It was an inland county. 8th grade, this kid named Jeremy told a bunch of us him and his dad drove to Area 51 in the middle of the night, took apart a stealth fighter with just a screwdriver and put it in his dad's truck, went home and put the whole thing back together in his attic. You can actually do a lot with a sonic screwdriver, and it was no ordinary stealth fighter. It was a TARDIS. This guy knew his shit. Time and relative dimension in space. I googled TARDIS and now realize I'm stupid. My freshman year of college I lived in an all freshman dorm. Of course. We had cops on and out constantly, mainly for weed and alcohol. One day the entire floor smelled like weed. Every room, the bathrooms, even into the stairwell. Some kids are talking about it in class, and one guy turns around and says I was selling a pound of weed from my room that day. No one believed it. Somebody had to have been selling weed. Some freshman in high school years back told my girlfriend that he was a serious big time drug dealer and he killed a dude because he tried to F with his product. And she asked him why he would tell her this if it was true. And he said cause he trusted her. But they just met for the first time that period. Remember Oprah's favorite things episodes? Before she gave the whole world a car, she used to do Christmas episodes where the audience a ton of awesome free stuff. For some reason, a girl at my high school loved to boast that she had tickets to next year's show. Every year. Next year never came. It was a bizarre lie. She seemed pretty normal otherwise.